Hello everyone. So today's video is going to be a continuation of yesterday's one, where we were learning about integer exponents. So in yesterday's video, detailedly we saw how to simplify certain exponents and also how do we solve negative exponents. So today we will further continue to explore more on what integers and negative exponents have to do. So before that, for a quick review, the lesson which we learned yesterday. So anything this is called the base and this is called the exponent. So for a negative exponent to solve it, you have to write it in the fractional form. This is also called the reciprocal. Reciprocal means we do the opposite just to make just to solve it. So once you write it as a fraction, you have to write 1 on top and then 2 to the power of 3. The negative sign disappears because we are flipping the question itself. So it's going to be 1 over 8. Okay, 2 to the power of 3 means 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, which is going to give you 1 over 8. So this question was quite different from the previous one because the base is inside the parenthesis. So we need to multiply the base as a whole 4 times. But of course, because the exponent is negative, you have to write it in fractional form. Also, I gave you some tips yesterday on how to solve these kinds of questions. So do watch. If you don't understand this, do watch yesterday's video or click the icon above to watch the previous video. Okay, so this is going to be negative 3 multiplied 4 times, so that will give us an 81. So the answer for this question is going to be 1 over 81. Okay, now this question is they are the same digits, as you can see, negative 3, negative 3, negative 4, but the only difference is here the base was inside the parenthesis here, whereas the base is not in the parenthesis. So when the base and the exponent both have negative signs, of course you must be knowing by now, the answer needs to be in negative as well. It should be negative. So again, here we are taking negative as a common sign because both of them have a common sign. Here only we are taking the base, so that's why we did not put it as a common sign there. So it's going to be 3 to the power of 4. So as usual, you're going to get a negative 1 over 81 if you solve that. Okay, now the other one was any number to the power of 0 is going to be equal to 1. So whether it's a negative or a decimal number, anything, if the base is even negative, but if the exponent is 0, it means the value of that particular exponent is number is 1. Okay, now also we checked this in detail yesterday as simplifying exponents. I also gave you the tip on this also, how to solve with this. So 2a to the power of negative 5 or b to the negative 6th power. So all what you need to do is flip it. I just showed you in detail how to do it yesterday, but using the quick trick, just flip the negative exponents. So b goes up and a comes down. So as a result, what happens is their negative signs disappear. So 2b to the power of 6 over a to the power of 5. Now, one thing that I forgot to tell you in yesterday's video, what if you have numbers like this? What if you have digits with the exponents? For example, here we did not have any digits, so it was not a problem. But here we have 14 and 0, 20. But as you can see, the question says simplify, simplify. So wherever possible, you need to simplify them. As you know, we can simplify 14 and 20 by 2. So that will give us 7 and 10. So the first thing you need to see are the numbers. If you can simplify the numbers, go ahead and simplify them, and then you can move on to the exponents. So here I have simplified 14 and 20. So that will give us 7 and 10 if you divide both of them with 2. So 7, a to the power of negative 4 and b to the power b, c to the power of negative 1. Now keep in mind here b is alone, which means it is having a power of 1. If there is no exponent for any variable, that means it is having an exponent of 1 or any number. Okay, so it's going to be the number itself or the letter itself. So now all what you need to do is get rid of these negatives with the exponent. So what happens? It flips. So a to the power of 4 comes down and c to the power of 1 goes up. Now it's always preferable, not necessary, it's always preferable we keep them in alphabetical order. So as we know, a comes before b, so that's why I have arranged it in this way. It's better you keep it that way, but it's not a rule that you have to keep it. Okay, now for moving on to today's lesson, we have evaluating expressions. Now what I even evaluate means to find the value. So there's a big difference between simplify and it's evaluating. There's a big difference between both of them. Evaluate means you need to find the value. Simplify means just to make it into a smaller term, that's all. Okay, evaluate means of course you have to solve it. So x to the power of -1 for x is equal to 2. All what you're going to do is replace the value of x where it is. So x is 2, which means in place of x we write 2. So you have the question now 2 to the power of -1. So now all of you know must be very well be aware of how to solve negative exponents by now. So because it's a negative exponent, you have to write it in a fractional form, 1 over 2 to the power of 1. So any number to the power of 1 is the same number itself. Okay, now let's go to a little bit a different kind of question. So we have a to the power of 0. Now when you see 0, always remember it equals 1. B to the power of -3 for a equals 8 and b equals -2. Okay, now replace the values first. So in place of a we write it 8. Always remember that these are separated by a multiplication sign, but we don't write them, as already we know that when a number or a variable or two variables are together means that they are multiplied, but we don't show them usually here. Okay, so b is going to be -2. Now how do you know whether to put this in a negative in the parenthesis or not? Always look at the place where the b belongs. Is there a negative sign here? Of course not. So you put the number inside the parenthesis. So any number to the power of 0 is going to give you 1. This means multiply. This symbol means not decimal, it means multiply. Now this we will write in fractional form, so that will go as 1 over -2 to the whole power of 3. Then when you simplify, as according to the trick, we need to get a negative sign because the exponent is odd. So -2 multiplied by -2 multiplied by -2, you simply multiply 2 twos are 4, 4 twos are 8, but keep in mind that it has to be a -1, so it's going to be -1 over 8. And now 1 multiplied by -1 over 8 is going to give you 1 over 8. This is how you evaluate expressions. If you think I'm going too fast for you, you just pause the video and look at this question very carefully. You will understand step by step how I have done. I'm moving too fast because I don't want to make the video too long for you, as long videos, anyone will get bored by watching. So you just, when I say the first step, just pause it and just think what we have done. You can understand it better that way. Okay, now moving on to another question. So this is the expression given 3ab to the whole power of -2 for a equals half and b equals 8. Now just replace them as I told you previously. 3 multiplied by a multiplied by b is what is meant by this expression. So in place of a goes half and in place of b goes 8. Now 3 multiplied by half multiplied by a to the whole power of -2. Now, if you look at this, you might think, what's this? But it's just mental math. Just half of 8, half multiply 8 is 4. 4 multiply 3 is 12. So 12 to the power of -2. How are you going to write 12 to the power of -2? How are you going to evaluate it? 1 over 12 multiplied by 12, which is going to give you 1 over 444. So that was all for this lesson. All you need to do is practice, practice, and practice, because you will come across different kinds of questions. It's not that these questions are not limited to what I have been showing you or teaching you now. There are variety of different kinds of questions. Only thing is you have to understand the concept of how to solve them. Once you understand the concept on how to solve them, any question in any form which you are going to solve is going to be easier once you know the method how to solve it. Okay, so hopefully we'll meet again, and stay tuned for the homework answers in the next video. I'll try to upload, I shall upload it as soon as possible, so that if you have any problems in solving the homework, you can clear your doubts through that video. Now if you have any of your friends who are studying in the same level as you, if you think this video was useful, do share it among them so that they will benefit from it too. As you know, sharing is caring. So we will meet again in another video. Until that, keep studying and keep practicing.